How's it going, Changemaker friends, fam, community? This is Luis Perales, CEO of Changemaker High School, coming at you with another Changemaker chat. On this Changemaker chat, we're going to be talking about strengthening our community. So let's get after it. When we're talking about strengthening the community, the concept of empowerment is paramount. Now, a lot of individuals look at empowerment and look at it through the lens of self-empowerment or community empowerment. Now, when we're talking about doing empowerment work, this empowerment work has to come from the individual first and then stems out into the community. We have to talk about self-empowerment and then collective empowerment. Now, in many instances, the ed space is not really helping young people to get to either of those states, self-empowerment or collective empowerment. In many instances, popularity contests are still happening in schools. The winners and the losers, the populars and those who are not so popular. But young people are changing that and flipping it all upside down. Now, when we look at the tradition of empowerment and young people going out into the community to do work, we usually relegate that to after-school activities or special clubs. Now, what would it look like if schools were focused in on doing just that? What if schools' purpose wasn't just to engage in reading, writing, and math, but would also important to give young people the skills to engage in their community in the ways that are going to make real impact in issues that matter to young people today? Now, if we do that, things will change. Things can drastically change. What if every school were to adopt a 1 to 3 mile radius around the school? How would conditions improve? What if we would move the notion from improving the conditions inside of the school to improving the conditions inside of the school and in the local community surrounding the school? What would happen to our towns, our cities? What would happen to our states? And what would happen to the country? Now, this is something that may be a little bit new, scary, or possibly too outside of the box for others. But here at Changemaker High School, we're dedicated in doing just this, providing young people with opportunities and helping them to get outside of our gates so that they can build themselves into great young adults who can do work for the greater good. Now, we need to look at the history of this work, specifically here in our town. Now, if we look at Tucson, Tucson has had a long history of young people stepping up and doing the right thing. Now, that hasn't always been easy, and in many instances it's made us uncomfortable, but it's always been necessary for progress to happen. Now, we want to focus in on those instances where young people really, really stepped up to the plate, were leaders in making decisions. Again, we have to hear them when they say things like, nothing without us, nothing about us without us. We want to have young people connected to those decisions that are going to affect them. In many instances, our local government, our local institutions, our schools aren't really hearing young people in the way that would really benefit them as young leaders. Now, if we open up those possibilities and we actually engage them in the most positive of ways, young people could step up. Now, we need to be careful when we do this because there also are opportunities that are evident in moments where this doesn't really work out the way we would want. If we look at the ladder of engagement, for example, just having young people show up for that photo op, well, that really isn't empowering young people. That is a form of exploitation and tokenism. We really want young people to be at the forefront of making decisions that created the opportunity for that photo op. Now, I don't want to come across as critiquing anyone's work or anything that's happened, but we really need to be critical because we have to protect our young people in a way that allows them to engage authentically, learn, but also be open to impact. Now, if we do this right, then what we'll have is a community which is going to grow, going to develop, and going to provide for our young people and for their futures. So it's paramount for us to really think about strengthening our communities in all of these ways. Now, how do we put these resources in the hands of young people? Well, first, we need to explore the different myriads of resources that are available. In many instances, schools aren't doing that. We need to really talk about what does political power look like? What does civic engagement look like? What does access to knowledge look like? And what does wealth generation look like? In many instances, we're really helping young people to understand very basic principles in the terms of reading, writing, and math, but we're really not hitting those areas that we want young people to be able to understand. We want young people to be successful. We want them to have resource, but we want them to say that they want more than just that house on the hill or that fancy car. We want them to say that they're going to have resource and that they're going to invest that resource back into the community, right? That they're going to share that surplus, that they're going to give back in the most meaningful of ways. Now, why is that important? Because those folks who have been through difficulty, they're the ones who give back generously. Those things that have impacted them in their time of youth will then be the things that they will turn around and help because they have firsthand experience. And so we need to encourage that. We need to help them understand that their position today isn't going to be the position tomorrow, and that as they grow, they develop, they become successful, and hopefully have access to all of those resources that are necessary: time, knowledge, money, etc., that they can put all of that into play to make things better. And schools have to be responsible for teaching young people how to do that in an ethical and moral way. So this is the key to making things better for our communities. The young people are the most valuable resource that we have. And if we don't prepare them for taking on those issues of tomorrow, then they're going to have to learn to do that themselves. Previous generations had to teach themselves, but I think that knowledge has to be passed on to our young people so that they can do what's best for our community into the future that's going to benefit them. So that's it for this Changemaker chat, folks. If you like this video and you want to hear more like this, then please follow our video sets on Instagram, YouTube, and Changemaker High School's Facebook page. You can catch all of our Changemaker chats and other videos that we've put together, and we want to share this knowledge with you because we think it's valuable and it's going to improve not just us, but also the local community. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for listening, and thank you for making the time. We really appreciate it, and we want you to continue to follow us. Now, again, if you know somebody who's interested in this form of education, please have them go to www.changemakerhighschool.org/intent-to-enroll, and they can schedule a tour today. If you prefer to give us a call, please call us at 520-615-2200. Thank you so much, everybody, and that's it for this Changemaker chat. Have a good one. Bye-bye.